At the '96 Academy Awards, there was one nail-biter race in the top 8 categories. One actor had delivered an incredible performance in Martin Scorsese's 3.5-hour epic Killers of the Flower Moon. The other actor had given a career-best tour de force performance in Poor Things from director Yorgos Lanthimos. It was a question we had been asking ourselves for weeks: who was going to win the Academy Award? No, not in Best Supporting Actor, of course. Best Actress this past award season came down to Lily Gladstone or Emma Stone, and despite her loss at SAG, Stone did take home her second Best Actress Oscar. In Supporting Actor, there had been zero suspense all season, Robert Downey Jr. sweeping the category from the Golden Globes to the Academy Awards for his memorable turn in Christopher Nolan's Oppenheimer. Robert De Niro for Killers of the Flower Moon couldn't compete, nor could Ryan Gosling for Barbie, nor could Sterling K. Brown for American Fiction, and somebody else who sadly never had a shot in hell of winning, Mark Ruffalo, for his dazzling comedic performance in Poor Things. He was my choice the entire season to win in Best Supporting Actor, but shockingly, he was snubbed at a couple of the major precursor ceremonies, and just getting the Oscar nomination was ultimately the win for him. Even though he gave one of the very best performances of 2023, even though Poor Things marked his 4th Oscar nomination in less than 15 years, and he still hasn't won. Why does the Academy Award continue to elude this remarkable actor? Was there ever a time he came pretty close to winning? My name is Brian Rowe, this is the Awards Contender, and it's time, my friends, for Mark Ruffalo and the elusive Oscar. To start, let's go back to the beginning. Mark Allen Ruffalo was born on November 22, 1967 to mother Marie Rose and father Frank. He grew up in Wisconsin and Virginia, and after graduating from high school, he moved to Los Angeles, where he took classes at the Stella Adler Conservatory. His film debut wasn't a great one. He showed up in the 1994 horror sequel Mirror Mirror 2 Raven Dance, and throughout the 90s he had small roles in films like 54 and Ang Lee's Ride with the Devil. During that decade, he appeared off-Broadway in the Kenneth Lonergan play This Is Our Youth, which proved to be a lucky break for Ruffalo given that Lonergan selected him to play one of the 2 main roles in his feature film directorial debut, 2000's You Can Count on Me, about a struggling single mother played by Laura Linney who is reunited with her younger brother.
I realize that I'm in no position to basically say anything ever, but it's not like I'm down there in some redneck bar in Florida. I'm having an argument with some stripper's boyfriend, and I suddenly say to myself, hey, this would be a great time to really stick it to Sammy and get myself locked up for a few months. Hey.
Premiering at the Sundance Film Festival before becoming one of the most acclaimed titles of the year, You Can Count on Me was the movie that made people take notice of Mark Ruffalo, his performance deeply felt and complicated all the way through. He was so celebrated in the film that there was talk at the end of the year that he could receive his first Oscar nomination in the less competitive Best Supporting Actor category, even though he gives arguably a lead performance. He got nominated for a few Critics' Prizes and got into Best Male Lead at the Film Independent Spirit Awards, but he was never able to crack the other televised ceremonies that season, even though at the Oscars the film got into Best Actress for Linney and Best Original Screenplay for Lonergan. Maybe it was category confusion, maybe it was that enough voters just didn't really know who Ruffalo was yet, but that's alright, his ascension had already begun. Throughout the 2000s, Ruffalo's career continued to flourish, the actor appearing in a variety of both studio and independent films opposite major talent. He starred in Jane Campion's In the Cut opposite Meg Ryan. He appeared in the astonishing ensemble of Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind the same year he acted with Jennifer Garner in the beloved comedy 13 Going on 30. By the time David Fincher's Zodiac came around in 2007, Ruffalo giving a terrific performance alongside Jake Gyllenhaal and Robert Downey Jr., we all knew it was a matter of time. Ruffalo's first Oscar nomination was coming, and soon. Sure, we had to wait until the following decade for the Academy to take notice of the great Mark Ruffalo, but the patience was worth it. In 2010, the same year he appeared in Martin Scorsese's Shutter Island and the comedy Date Night, and directed his first movie, Sympathy for Delicious, He also starred in Lisa Cholodenko's The Kids Are All Right with Annette Bening and Julianne Moore, and here, finally, was the standout role he'd been looking for that was going to get him deep into the awards conversation. The Kids Are All Right, which also premiered at the Sundance Film Festival, tells of two children of lesbian parents conceived by artificial insemination who go in search for their biological father, played by Ruffalo.
Hey, Lays, seriously, don't sweat school, man. I mean, I didn't do well in school either. I'm not doing so badly now, right?
Cholodenko's outstanding comedy drama was one of the big indie hits of 2010, a very funny and entertaining film that started conversations and shined a light on the normalcy of non-traditional family life. Bening and Moore have terrific chemistry together, and the addition of Ruffalo was a casting masterstroke, his role as Paul having the perfect blend of sexiness, confidence, and also, let's be honest, douchery. Most awards voters had been able to ignore him for excellent work before, but finally it was Ruffalo's time to shine, the actor getting in everywhere that season in Best Supporting Actor for The Kids Are All Right, except for the Golden Globes. After Bening won Best Actress and the film won Best Motion Picture Musical or Comedy at the Globes, the steam continued to build for the movie, Ruffalo eventually coming along for the ride at Critics' Choice, SAG, BAFTA, Film Independent Spirit, and the Oscars. In Best Supporting Actor at the 83rd Academy Awards, Ruffalo was up against Christian Bale for The Fighter, John Hawkes for Winter's Bone, Jeremy Renner for The Town, and Jeffrey Rush for The King's Speech. Did Ruffalo have a chance to win his first time around? Not hardly, given that he was easily in third place behind Rush, who won Best Supporting Actor at BAFTA, and Bale, who swept the rest of the season for his acclaimed physical and emotional transformation in David O. Russell's The Fighter opposite Amy Adams, Mark Wahlberg, and the also Oscar-winning Melissa Leo. The Kids Are All Right got a number of important nominations like Best Actress for Bening, Best Original Screenplay, and Best Picture, so I do think Ruffalo was ahead of Hawkes and especially Renner, but on his first nomination, he was just happy to be there. And hey, that Oscar nom helped Ruffalo in more ways than one. I'm not exactly sure how every role comes to an actor, but I bet Ruffalo's Academy Award nomination helped secure him the role of Bruce Banner, aka the Hulk, in 2012's The Avengers, along with many Marvel movies that came afterward. He was never going to win a gold trophy for those movies, but talk about a phenomenon film series that very much increased his profile. His next big year arrived in 2014 when Ruffalo played the lead role in Ryan Murphy's HBO TV movie The Normal Heart, about the onset of the HIV/AIDS crisis in New York. Ruffalo received his first Primetime Emmy Award nomination, and he won the SAG Award for Outstanding Performance by a Male Actor in a Television Movie or Miniseries. He also received his first 2 Golden Globe nominations in early 2015 for The Normal Heart, and for his remarkable performance in Bennett Miller's Foxcatcher, which tells the true-life story of U.S. Olympic wrestling champions Mark Schultz and Dave Schultz, who trained for the 1988 Olympic Games under the guidance of multimillionaire John DuPont, played by a nearly unrecognizable Steve Carell. Channing Tatum played Mark, and Ruffalo played his brother Dave.
Mark, what's he get out of all this?
Mr. DuPont?
Yeah.
America, winning.
Miller's disturbing and captivating drama was a hit out of the Cannes Film Festival and continued to play well into the fall and winter of 2014, the film showing up on many critics' top 10 lists and being discussed immediately as a major awards contender. The performances most singled out from the film were Carell, who was changing gears with an amazing dramatic role, and Ruffalo, who was continuing to prove he was one of the greatest actors of his generation. For his turn in Foxcatcher, he received Best Supporting Actor nominations at Golden Globes, Critics' Choice, SAG, BAFTA, and the Oscars, not missing anywhere. At the 87th Academy Awards, Ruffalo was nominated alongside Robert Duvall for The Judge, Ethan Hawke for Boyhood, Edward Norton for Birdman, and J.K. Simmons for Whiplash. Sadly, he had even less of a chance to win for Foxcatcher than he did for The Kids Are All Right, given that despite the near universal acclaim his movie had been receiving for months, Foxcatcher wasn't able to break into the Best Picture category, although it did get into Best Director for Miller and Best Actor for Carell. Maybe it was just too cold of a movie overall for Academy members, I don't know, but the movie went home empty-handed that night, there just not being enough passion for Foxcatcher by the end of that award season, And so I do think Ruffalo was in 4th place this time behind Hawke, Norton, and Simmons, the latter sweeping the season, of course, for his iconic performance in Whiplash. So yes, once again, Ruffalo had to remain in his seat and cheer for someone else, but at least he didn't have to wait too long until his 3rd Oscar nomination, again in Best Supporting Actor. The following year, Ruffalo not only appeared in another Avengers movie, he also gave one of the standout performances in the crackling journalism ensemble drama Spotlight, which tells the true story of reporters at the Boston Globe who uncovered the scandal of child molestation and cover-up inside the local Catholic archdiocese. Ruffalo played the real-life journalist Michael Resendez, who, in his most famous scene from the movie, gets completely fed up.
They knew, and they let it happen. 2 kids! Okay? It could have been you. It could have been me. It could have been any of us.
Directed by Tom McCarthy, Spotlight was one of the most talked about films of 2015, premiering at the Venice Film Festival before hitting theaters that November and becoming both a critical darling and a box office hit, and it appeared like Ruffalo was once again coming along for the ride in Best Supporting Actor. Weirdly, at that year's Golden Globe ceremony, he received a nomination for Best Actor in a Motion Picture Comedy or Musical for Infinitely Polar Bear, one of the most random award nominations of that entire decade, frankly, but he was snubbed in Supporting Actor for Spotlight. He also didn't get into the Screen Actors Guild Awards that year either. However, at the same time, at SAG that night, he won Best Cast in a Motion Picture for Spotlight alongside the other members of that amazing ensemble.
No way. Okay. Wow, I was not expecting that.
So he did get to take home a trophy for his performance. His only individual nominations for Spotlight at the precursor ceremonies and Best Supporting Actor were at Critics' Choice and BAFTA, so it was certainly possible he could have missed at the Oscars. But I think with his 2 recent nominations and Spotlight as beloved as it was by the Academy, there was no doubt the Oscar recognition would be his. At the 88th Academy Awards, Ruffalo was up against Christian Bale again for The Big Short, Tom Hardy for The Revenant, Mark Rylance for Bridge of Spies, and Sylvester Stallone for Creed. And I would argue, even though Ruffalo missed individual nominations at both Golden Globes and SAG, the closest to date he has ever come to winning an Academy Award was for Spotlight. I mean, Best Supporting Actor that season was chaotic to say the least. Stallone appeared to be the early frontrunner, winning in the category at Golden Globes and Critics' Choice, but then he was snubbed for nominations at both SAG and BAFTA. Idris Elba won at SAG, and Mark Rylance won at BAFTA. Still, Stallone at the Oscars appeared to be the favorite to win Best Supporting Actor, but Rylance was breathing down his neck, and Ruffalo, I would say, was in a close 3rd place on his 3rd Oscar nomination without a win in just 5 years, and he was in that year's ultimate winner for the Best Picture Academy Award. When a movie wins trophies for picture and screenplay at the Oscars, oftentimes an acting win can accompany them, and Ruffalo had the better shot to win than Rachel McAdams, who was nominated that night in Best Supporting Actress. I do think votes could have been split between Stallone and Rylance, allowing Ruffalo to emerge victorious. I bet it was closer than most people think, but at the end of the day, it was Rylance who won the Best Supporting Actor Oscar for his acclaimed performance in Steven Spielberg's Cold War drama Bridge of Spies, starring Tom Hanks. The funniest part about Rylance's win was the look on Ruffalo's face, who clearly thinks, for a split second, Patricia Arquette is revealing his name as the winner, not Rylance's. I mean, come on, Mark Pretty close, I would say, and his crazy laughter in the seconds that follow are just too frickin' cute.
You lost to Mark Rylance. No, yeah. Did that make you...
Yeah, that was hard.
Was that rude?
It wasn't the kind of thing that I thought of pre-Oscars. Was that the one person in my category also shared my first name and the first consonant of my last name.
For the rest of the 2010s, Ruffalo mostly made Marvel films, his only play for awards attention coming from the 2019 Todd Haynes drama Dark Waters, but that movie crashed and burned. He got lots of praise for his dual roles in the compelling 2020 HBO miniseries I Know This Much Is True, which earned Ruffalo wins, not nominations, wins, in Best Actor at Golden Globes, SAG, and the Primetime Emmy Awards, so well deserved. But when was Mark Ruffalo's 4th Oscar nomination going to arrive? What kind of performance and what kind of a movie would it be? Oh baby, what a treat we all received in 2023 with Ruffalo's spectacular, arguably career-best performance as the egotistical, predatory Duncan Wedderburn who steals Emma Stone's Bella from her Frankenstein-like father played by Willem Dafoe.
You're always reading now, Bella. You're losing some of your adorable way of speaking.
Oh my god, Ruffalo is an absolute comic force in Yorgos Lanthimos' magnificent dark science fiction fantasy, delivering a wholly unique character we love to despise and whose every moment in Poor Things is a genuine wonder to behold. Walking out of the screening at the Telluride Film Festival in September 2023, I proclaimed that Emma Stone gave the performance of the year and was 100% winning the Best Actress Oscar, which happened. But I also said that Ruffalo was now the frontrunner to win the Best Supporting Actor Academy Award, which, as it turned out, did not happen. I had seen Oppenheimer by Telluride, of course, so I knew Robert Downey Jr. was going to be a major threat, but I honestly had no idea just how much of a threat, how he would dominate that category to the extent he did. For a few months, I truly thought Ruffalo was going to be very competitive to win in Best Supporting Actor. Unfortunately, as it turned out, we all got lucky that he merely received the Oscar nomination itself, Ruffalo getting in at Golden Globes and Critics' Choice, but not SAG or BAFTA. The person from Poor Things who got the SAG nomination for Best Supporting Actor was Willem Dafoe, also a 4-time Oscar loser, sadly, and the subject of my previous Elusive Oscar video. So yeah, Ruffalo missed at SAG, and both Dafoe and Ruffalo missed at BAFTA, but I kept the faith that entire season. I just knew in my heart that Ruffalo's incredible performance in Poor Things was going to receive the Oscar nomination, and thank God it happened, because that would have been one of the big snubs of the year. Sure, he was never going to win, nominated in Best Supporting Actor at the 96 Academy Awards alongside Sterling K. Brown for American Fiction, Robert De Niro for Killers of the Flower Moon, Robert Downey Jr. for Oppenheimer, and Ryan Gosling for Barbie. I will always maintain that Ruffalo should have won something along the way that season. Hell, Gosling too. I don't think Downey Jr. gave a performance in Oppenheimer that was worthy of sweeping the way he did from the Globes all the way to Oscars night. But hey, at least Ruffalo made it in. At least he received that well-deserved 4th Academy Award nomination and Best Supporting Actor for Poor Things. The question now is, of course, when will the amazing Mark Ruffalo win his elusive Oscar? 4 nominations to date, all in the same category, and still no victories. He currently has a few projects in post-production, including Now You See Me 3, plus 2 television projects. His most interesting looking upcoming film is Mickey 17, directed by Bong Joon-ho and co-starring Robert Pattinson and Toni Collette. Unfortunately, that film has kept getting pushed back over and over, so something tells me it's not going to be a big awards player, but you never know. What I do know is this: Ruffalo, one day, is going to win an Academy Award. He's too good not to. He has proven for decades that he is talented beyond measure. His career has always been varied and fascinating as he constantly shows up in big studio movies, compelling TV miniseries, and small, quirky indie films. He works with fantastic directors and terrific actors, and as he definitely proved with Poor Things, he is always willing to take risks. That's why I will always adore the one and only Mark Ruffalo, and that's why I will continue to believe that with the right film, the right role, and really frickin' good timing, that elusive Oscar will be his sooner than we think. Thanks so much for watching and subscribing, and let me know in the comments below, what is your favorite Oscar nomination for Mark Ruffalo? Do you think he's going to win an Academy Award one day? We'll see you next time at the Awards Contender.